Hey everybody, my name is TWelch. I'm the Director of Financial Aid, and I'm going to answer some of your pressing questions about the FAFSA. So the FAFSA it's an acronym. It stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid, and it's accessed online through fasfa.ed.gov. And you create a username and password just like everything else in the world, and you fill it out. It's free. Have your parents with you when you do it. That way both parent and student can sign the FAFSA. Yeah, when you would want to determine how much financial aid you receive, there's a bunch of different metrics that we put together. There's federal aid, there's state aid, there's institutional aid. Some of you are eligible for athletic aid. So we participate in a state grant program. We also participate in Title IV aid, which is federal programs. So we take all that information from your FAFSA and we determine eligibility for grants and scholarships, and my office will put together a financial aid packet. We'll send you one in the mail, and we'll send you one via email as well. That way you know exactly what your cost is. A lot of people ask about student loans, how they come into play with the cost. Loans are borrowed to help supplement any expenses that your other aid doesn't cover, and repayment on the loans begins 6 months after the student graduates or, God forbid, drops below half-time enrollment. That's when you start making the payments on those loans. Yeah, another question is, what other loan options do I have? The most common is a Parent Plus loan. Parent Plus loans are loans that parents borrow, help with the cost. The application is done online, much like the FAFSA. The username and password that the parents created when they did the FAFSA is the same one that they use when they log into the Parent Plus loan. Pretty seamless process. It's a pretty simple application. It takes about 20 minutes to do, and my office will get the information via transmission from the Department of Education, and we can apply the loan pretty easily for you. Some of you will be selected for a process called verification, and that's the government's way of just making sure that the data elements on the FAFSA are indeed true. And we'll ask for things like a copy of a tax return, maybe a W-2, a worksheet. Some advice for helping with this process is to, when you do the FAFSA, use the data retrieval tool, import your taxes directly from the IRS. That helps kind of move that whole process along. Yeah, a big question I get is, what's my cost and how much is the final number? And really it varies by student, but essentially you take the sum of your aid. So when we send you a financial aid offer, it's all broken down, the total aid, and then below that you'll see a cost. We have tuition, fees, room and board. You subtract your aid from the cost, and that's your remaining balance to be paid for the year. With that, we have payment plans. You can pay over 10 months, or we can explore other loan options. Once the FAFSA is done and you've been accepted to Barton, the next step is we'll send you your financial aid offer. That way you know exactly what you're eligible for. You pay your deposit, and that solidifies your spot at the college and gets things moving for your Barton email and your housing and things like that. Any additional information that is required, my office will communicate with you. So if you're taking student loans, it might be the loan documents like entrance counseling, master promissory note. If you're selected for verification, we'll send you an email. So I guess the bottom line is, once you've submitted your FAFSA, you've been accepted, you received your financial aid packet, keep an eye out on your email, your phone calls, because we'll communicate with you that way if additional information that's needed. That's it.
How do loans help to cover the costs?
A lot of people ask about student loans, how they come into play with the cost. Loans are borrowed to help supplement any expenses that your other aid doesn't cover, and repayment on the loans begins 6 months after the student graduates or, God forbid, drops below half-time enrollment. That's when you start making the payments on those loans.